CTV News with Matt Grillo.
Good evening. If you haven't filled up your gas tank yet, now is the time. After escalation in the conflict in the Middle East, analysts are expecting prices to hit $2 per liter this week. And it's not just car travel that's expected to take a hit. Kelly Gregg reports.
At Trudeau Airport, travelers are walking a fine line between spending time on vacation and spending on tickets.
This can be expensive, we realize that, but person's got to do what a person's got to do, right? You want to get somewhere, you got to go.
The escalation of attacks around vital shipping channels in the Strait of Hormuz comes with a rise in the cost of gas and jet fuel.
You had, 40, 50 cent increases in liters. Gas for automobile, the price of aviation fuel has doubled.
On certain tickets, Porter Airlines has already put in a fuel surcharge of $40, telling CTV fuel represents the highest cost of airline operations, and the charge is, quote, expected to be temporary.
They always have a habit of kind of rolling into the regular fare somehow, some way. It's very rare I've seen those fuel surcharges really disappear.
Some travelers with short hops say next time they'll drive.
But I have an hybrid.
But it's not much better on the ground. Around Montreal Sunday afternoon, prices were already at $1.93.
This is the week. Get prepared because we're probably going to go over the $2 liter mark in the next 24 to 48 hours.
If you think prices are bad now, well, just wait. On April 15th, stations across Canada will switch from a winter to a summer blend, which means it'll cost even more.
As the components used in the summer blend are a little bit more sophisticated, more costly. So for $2 next week, in 2 weeks, we get $2.10 if nothing else changes.
After Porter's fuel surcharge, Dan McTagg expects other Canadian carriers to follow suit. He says the best time to book your summer vacation was 2 months ago. And if you didn't,
staying at home or hitchhiking seems to be the best option as we head into summer 2026.
Your best travel advice might be to get a new pair of shoes. Kelly Gregg, CTV News.
Montreal police have suspended the search for the teenager who fell through the ice on Rivière-des-Prairies Thursday. A police spokesperson told CTV News authorities might carry out additional checks in the coming days. On Saturday, the police marine unit conducted river checks while divers searched an area where the current could have carried the 18-year-old man. He and a 17-year-old fell through the ice this past Thursday. The 17-year-old was pulled from the river and taken to hospital. His life is not in danger. Police are investigating a stabbing in Montreal North Saturday night. Police say a 56-year-old man had been injured with a sharp object at a residence on Chartrand Street near Léger Boulevard. A 30-year-old woman was arrested. Police also investigating a vehicle fire in RDP. Police were called to the scene on Thomas Paine near Olivier Lejeune Street just before 4 a.m. Firefighters told investigators that a car window appeared to have been smashed and that the fire originated inside the passenger compartment. No one was injured and the vehicle was heavily damaged. While April is just a few days away, don't put away your jacket just yet. Montreal may be in for at least 10 more days of winter conditions. Here's Sweeta Rassi.
It's the sound of spring, which officially arrived 9 days ago. But in Montreal, it's hard to believe. And for some, patience is running out.
Actually, I'm a little bit fed up with the winter. It's taking too much time.
If it feels like a never-ending winter, you're not imagining it. It's been colder and snowier than usual, says David Phillips, a climatologist with Environment Canada.
The worst period has been the last 10 days since spring arrived. My gosh, it hasn't warmed up at all in Montreal.
And for tourists, the weather may have left a lasting impression.
We will come back to Canada, but definitely not in March.
Many are bundled up.
Just gloves and fleeces. Layers, yes.
According to Environment Canada, temperatures could rise to 14 degrees Celsius on Monday, but Phillips says that's just a tease.
It's just like a one-day wonder because the next day, 2 days, we're going to see temperatures down to like 3 or 4 degrees for a high.
He says the warm air is making its way up north, so Montrealers should expect spring weather in the next 10 days.
It's been a pretty long winter, and we can't wait to get our
sun back.
Yeah.
It's always so cold, and I can't wait to put my spring clothes and everything.
But don't take out the spring coats just yet. There's also a chance it will snow again. Phillips says in the last 70 years, Montreal only had one April where it didn't snow at all.
But when that white stuff falls from the air, it's not cherry blossoms, it's snow.
Summer can't come soon enough. Sweet Arasi, CTV News.
The NDP has a new leader. The New Democrats have chosen Avi Lewis as they try to work their way back. Rachel Aiello reports.
Please welcome the new leader of Canada's NDP, le nouveau chef du NPD, Avi Lewis.
Avi Lewis is the new leader of the federal NDP. A decisive victory. New Democrats elected Lewis on the first ballot with 56% of the vote.
This is about all of us coming together to find our place and our power in the thrilling work of building a shared future.
Lewis comes from a progressive political dynasty. Both his father and grandfather led new Democratic parties in this country. In his campaign platform, Lewis proposed to block any new pipelines, impose a wealth tax on the 1%, and create public options for groceries.
The money is there, my friends. We need a government with the courage to go and get it for all of us.
His clear mandate to take the party further to the left, celebrated by many.
NDP! NDP! Avi Lewis has such a clear vision for the NDP. I think he's going to do amazing as leader, and I'm so excited.
We have hope for our future.
Others express disappointment.
I worry that some of his platforms are unattainable, and people might lose faith in the party.
He's got some good ideas, but he scares me a little bit. The militancy there, for me, it scares me.
And now the real work begins.
I think the rebuild is going to take all of us, and I'm really grateful that Avi sees that.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Let's get to work.
But his ability to unify is already being tested. As soon as Lewis won, the Alberta and Saskatchewan NDP came out swinging, saying his views run contrary to the party's working class roots.
I know there's been a lot of talk about division, but I think that what we've seen over the course of this weekend in Winnipeg hopefully shows a brighter future for a party that has been, frankly, irrelevant for the last number of months.
Lewis has inherited a party that has a long way to go to reestablish itself as a viable political option. Those I spoke with today said inviting the 4 other candidates on stage was an important first step. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Winnipeg.
It's been 10 years since broadcaster and former politician Jean Lapierre died. Lapierre, his wife, and 3 of his siblings, as well as the 2 pilots on their private plane, were killed when it crashed in les Îles de la Madeleine. Lapierre was 59 when he died. He was a lawyer, a politician, cabinet minister, and then a television and radio commentator. He was known to many here on CTV and on CJAD for his witty analysis and inside scoops. He provided analysis in English and in French on TVA. His longtime friend and colleague, TVA anchor Paul Larocque, says Lapierre left a void.
His style, but his impact in politics for French viewers at LCN, and the same in the English community, you know. The day after his death, Mutsumi Takahashi and Andrew Carter came at LCN to talk about Jean, explaining to us how Jean was as popular in the English community that in the Quebec francophone, you know. And I remember Andrew Carter told me that he was kind of a rock star when he was appearing in public in the West Island, I don't know where. I've learned that. You know, and Jean was quite a bridge between us, saying the same thing in English, and a bridge between English and the French community in Quebec.
Larocque said he thinks Lapierre would be especially proud of his 2 children, his daughter Marianne, who is a broadcaster, and his son Jean-Michel, a successful lawyer. Space enthusiasts are eagerly awaiting the planned liftoff of NASA's Artemis II mission set for this Wednesday in Florida. It will be the first time humans orbit the moon in more than 50 years. The 10-day mission has a crew of 3 Americans and 1 Canadian, Ontario native Jeremy Hansen. The plan is to fly several orbits around the Earth before flying to and around the moon without landing there. Science observer Dan Riskin says testing the Artemis is crucial for what comes next. More missions to the moon and eventually a moon base and trips to Mars. And Canada has a front row seat.
Canada has a real knack for finding a way to be super helpful on these space missions at a reasonable expense. So what'll usually happen is the U.S. puts forward just about all the money for these missions, and Canada says, you know what, we're going to do this one little piece of it, and we're going to do it really, really well. And so the Canadarm is a perfect example of that technology. But, you know, when it comes to all the different NASA missions, whether it's visiting an asteroid, whether it's going to the moon of another planet, Canada has always been part of that infrastructure. And so this is, in a way, a chance for a Canadian to be part of this mission, but it's also a little bit of a reward for Canada.
The Artemis has only been used once before, and that was an automated flight without a crew. Let's take a look at the forecast now. It's feeling pretty nice out there. 4 degrees in Montreal, 2 in Sherbrooke, 0 in Quebec City. A warm start to your week tomorrow. We'll have a mix of sun and clouds in the morning, and temperatures will warm up to 12 degrees in the afternoon. But we will have cloudy conditions into the evening. It's going to cool off the rest of the week. We'll have highs above 0 every day with periods of snow and rain scattered throughout the week. After the break, U.S. troops have arrived in the Middle East, but what exactly are they doing there? And a decrease in the number of international students is having a big impact on universities. The U.S. says the first ground forces have arrived in the Middle East, with more preparing to ship out. Matt Rivers reports from Doha.
New images capturing the first set of U.S. ground troops in the Middle East. U.S. Central Command announcing that the 3,500 sailors and Marines of the 31st Marine Expeditionary Unit arrived in the region on Friday aboard the USS Tripoli. The force also equipped with transport and strike fighter aircraft and amphibious assault capabilities. It comes just one day after we learned of yet another American aircraft carrier en route as the U.S. amasses a larger presence in the Middle East. While it's unclear what exactly the troops are there to do, the Pentagon has previously said they are giving the president options. The same day the troops arrived, Secretary of State Marco Rubio telling G7 leaders the U.S. could accomplish its goals without boots on the ground.
We can achieve them without any ground troops, without any.
Meanwhile, as the war passes the 1-month mark, the death toll mounting on multiple fronts. In Iran, more than 1,900 people killed so far, according to Iranian authorities. And over in Lebanon, where Israel is waging war against Iran-backed Hezbollah, an Israeli strike killing 2 Lebanese journalists and a cameraman, according to their news organizations and Lebanese officials. The Israeli military saying they were targeting a correspondent for a Hezbollah-owned network they accused of being an intelligence operative, but have not provided any evidence. And Israel's military announcing the death of an Israeli-American soldier from New Haven, Connecticut. The 22-year-old was killed in Lebanon. We're learning more about that attack on a U.S. base in Saudi Arabia. A source telling ABC News at least 15 U.S. troops were wounded, 5 seriously injured, adding Iran fired 29 drones and 6 ballistic missiles, all but 1 intercepted or landing in an uninhabited area. The base also coming under attack 2 other times earlier in the week. 14 troops injured in one of those separate attacks, according to the source.
And just this morning, the Speaker of Iran's parliament said about the U.S., quote, "The enemy openly sends messages of negotiation while secretly planning a ground attack. Whether we will actually see U.S. troops on the ground remains very unclear, but it is certainly a possibility." Matt Rivers, ABC News in Doha, Qatar.
Smoke was seen billowing from an industrial zone in southern Israel following an Iranian missile attack. Israel's Fire and Rescue Service says a fire broke out in an industrial area near Be'er Sheva, the largest city in southern Israel, home to several chemical manufacturing and industrial plants. Earlier, Israeli military officials say multiple waves of missiles were fired at Israel from Iran. The CEO of Swedish defense company Saab says intensive talks are still underway with the Canadian government around the potential purchase of its fighter jets.
We are providing as much information as possible to the Canadian authorities and the politicians and industry to make sure that the case is sort of accessible in terms of how quickly we can do this, affordability, infrastructure perspectives on how easy it is to integrate this type of capability, the fighters, into your existing infrastructure. So the information is there. And then there is some sort of process evaluating this as we speak.
The federal government launched a review a year ago on its plan to purchase dozens of F-35 fighter jets from U.S. firm Lockheed Martin, pledging at the time it would make a decision by the end of summer. Months later, the government has yet to announce the results of that review, leaving Saab in limbo as it continues to pitch its Gripen fighter jets to Canada. Christians in Lebanon are celebrating Palm Sunday, which marks the start of Holy Week, despite an ongoing war and the massive displacement across the country. Mass was held at the St. Thomas Cathedral, Palm Sunday marking the day Christians believe Jesus entered Jerusalem. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is in Jordan for meetings on security, focusing on how to intercept drone attacks. Zelensky is seeking to shore up defense ties in the Gulf and the wider Middle East region. Social media, he said, security is the top priority and it is important that all partners make the necessary efforts toward it. Kyiv has sent more than 200 experts to advise Middle Eastern countries on how to intercept drone attacks that have targeted energy infrastructure across the region. Zelensky has made stops in Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Qatar to discuss defense cooperation in recent days. It's day 44 of the partial U.S. government shutdown. And with TSA officers not getting paid and many calling in sick in protest, travelers have been facing long waits to get through airport security lines. Mola Lengi reports.
For weeks, travelers have been dealing with hours-long security lines at airports across the country. TSA officers who have gone weeks without paychecks have been calling out in record numbers. On Saturday, over 30% of TSA workers called out in Houston, Baltimore, New York's JFK, and Atlanta.
They just need to pay the guys, get them their salary on time and do what they need to do.
The president signing an executive order on Friday to redirect funds to pay TSA personnel their back pay. Over the weekend, security lines at some airports have seen signs of improvement, including here at BWI, though airport officials advise arriving 3 hours prior to departure. Meanwhile, lawmakers remain at an impasse. House Republicans rejected the Senate's bill because it stripped out funding for ICE and Border Patrol, even though both of those agencies are already fully funded under President Trump's mega bill passed last year.
Republicans and Democrats passed the Senate that would immediately fully fund TSA while we continue to negotiate reforms to ICE, a lawless ICE operation. And the Republican Speaker of the House refused to even have a vote on that in the House and went home.
Democrats have been pushing for reforms to immigration enforcement. Their demands include ICE agents wearing body cameras and banning face masks, but they've got none of that. The House passed its own short-term bill to fund DHS for 8 weeks.
We have very big differences between the House and the Senate. The Senate bill they sent over, by the way, defunds about 7,000 positions at the Department of Homeland Security.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer says that plan is dead on arrival in the Senate, which, along with the House, is currently in a recess until April 13th. Mola Lengi, ABC News, Baltimore, Washington International Airport.
Canada's Auditor General report this week revealed major issues with the handling of the International Student Permit Program. The overall number of foreign students coming to Canada dropped far more than expected, and that's having a major impact on campuses right across the country. Abigail Biman reports.
At the small-town Perth Algonquin College campus, Robin Gifford will be able to finish his Heritage Carpentry and Joinery program before the campus closes in August. After big cuts, this month the college decided another 30 programs are being phased out, citing international student enrollment as one factor.
The schools found a way to abuse international students for money, and they took advantage of it. And if your institution can't run profitably without exploiting international students, that's not our fault. That's your fault.
The school didn't respond to multiple interview requests by deadline.
Considering it's something that's so vital to our community, they don't seem to see it that way.
Do you feel Perth hasn't had a voice?
Yes.
The Auditor General found Canada's cap on international students did work to decrease the numbers, but they dropped off way more than projected. That's true right across the country, including here in Ontario, but smaller provinces were disproportionately impacted.
There has been a damage to just that, the image or the, Canada as a study destination, I think, in general. And so we've seen that then impact.
The University of Saskatchewan is not sure exactly why they've seen such a dramatic decrease and wants immigration staff to meet with them to explain. Their international student enrollment dropped 18%, while at Alberta's Lethbridge Polytechnic,
international student enrollment is down about 40%. Which has really impacted our budget, obviously.
Which the school believes is in part due to students not wanting to choose our country due to uncertainty.
Just reconsidering Canada as a place to go to school and work.
Universities Canada is optimistic things can head in the right direction.
What we need to do is make sure that the system's stable now for a couple of years. Let's not do anything else that sends a message to students around the world that they're not sure how the rules work in Canada.
While Perth, Ontario still hopes there's a solution for their closing campus. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Perth, Ontario.
Coming up, he's been helping those in need on the West Island for years, and now Kim Reid has decided to retire. And we meet the Canadians starring in a musical that honors a well-known 70s singer. For more than 3 decades, he's been helping those in need on the West Island. You've probably seen him on air before. Kim Reid from On Rock Community Services in Pierrefonds. It's been about a month now that he's retired, and he joins us now. Hi there, Kim.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm great, thank you. Thanks for doing this today. First off, congratulations for your retirement.
Thank you very much.
Of course. Talk to me about what went into this decision.
Let's start with the fact that I'm 67. So I was just getting to that point where it was time for me to look at the next phase. And my daughter, who was running our thrift store for, I think she was doing it for 3 years at the time, came to me and said, "Dad, I want to be more involved than just the thrift store." And I asked her, "Well, what is it you're looking to do?" And she said, "I want to run this place." So I was like, okay, let's explore that. And from that point on, she started to take on a few more responsibilities, and just to see how she would fit in. And was she capable? And it turns out she is much more than capable. She's doing a fantastic job. I had a medical issue as well that I'm still working through, which took me away from work a little more than I would like it to. So it just seemed like the time was right. She was ready. We had a board of directors. We have a board of directors that's incredible, and they're going to be a great support for her. So we decided to pull the plug March 1st.
You developed On Rock Food Bank over decades. How much hard work went into that?
A lot of work, long hours, mainly 6 days a week. But it was also a work of love and of just fulfillment. It's we fell upon the food bank because a lady came to us and asked us if we could help her out. She was an old lady who was she was 86 at the time, and she didn't tell us, but she was looking to phase out and hand it off, which we didn't know at the time. And by the time she disappeared and stopped coming, I looked at my coworker and I said, "I think we run a food bank now." And at the time we had a drop-in center for teenagers, and the food bank just started to take off. So we had to look at that situation and say, okay, do we do we continue doing stuff with kids, or do we take on this food bank thing? And there were many organizations in the community who were already helping with kids, and there were very few people doing food bank. So we decided to jump in on the food bank and to move in that direction. And not long after that, COVID hit, and it just exploded.
Yeah, and now you're helping 300 families a week in Pierrefonds in the West Island, if I'm not mistaken. You mentioned earlier your daughter Kayla is taking over. Where do you think On Rock goes from here, and can we expect any changes?
That's a good question. We have just, in the past, I guess a year ago, we started our grocery store where our clients come in and shop for their food rather than just be handed a box. And that was a big undertaking because it was a total renovation, creating a grocery store and getting all the equipment and everything that goes with that and the staffing. So we just came off of that about a year ago. When we started to push more towards my retirement. So the next phase of growth and of dreaming which direction to go in, that's going to be up to Kayla and her staff.
Kim Reed, happy retirement. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, thank you.
Time now for In Case You Missed It. Montreal is changing how it helps businesses affected by construction. But some owners say even with changes, relief isn't guaranteed. Here's Laurence Brisson-Dubreuil.
Lunch hour once meant a full house here on Stanley Street.
Our sales, and it's just gotten worse and worse and worse.
Brigade Pizzeria co-owner Jean-Daniel Nadeau has watched his restaurant slowly empty out. He says the pandemic, followed by years of downtown construction, especially along St. Catherine West, have taken a major toll. Before that, he says business was steady every day. Now sales are down 60%, but expenses haven't budged.
The taxes are still at 100%, the Hydro-Québec is still 100%, everything is still 100%. And we, in this economy, we cannot raise our price just, to fulfill the gap. It doesn't make sense.
The mayor says her administration is listening. City Hall is promising faster, simpler financial aid for businesses hit by major construction. The new program merges two systems with $5,000 up front and up to $40,000 total. The eligibility window is now 3 months of continuous work with applications online and payments expected to come faster. The city says this is also about reviving Montreal.
We have to make sure that we're keeping our local merchants and their vitality in downtown core.
More businesses now qualify, with over 20 commercial zones being expanded. City Councillor Leslie Roberts says the old system left too many out, including on Stanley Street, where only one side qualified before.
What we did was just change the zoning so that both sides now have the eligibility.
Meaning Brigade Pizzeria is now included. But even with promises of a system that's broader, simpler, and faster, Nadeau says there's still a big unknown.
Are we going to get $500, $20, $0, or $440,000? I have no idea. And that's the biggest issue. We don't know if we're really going to go and get help.
After 12 years in business, he's hoping to stay open for many more, just without the constant disruption outside his door.
Downtown needs love. It really needs love.
Laurence Brisson-Dubreuil, CTV News.
One of rock and roll's most boisterous and theatrical singers, Meatloaf, died 4 years ago. But his biggest record continues to live as a stage musical that will hit Montreal in early April. And it features a very talented Canadian. Stéphane Giroux has the story.
There was a time in the late 1970s when singer Meatloaf was everywhere, from movie screens to the top of the charts, with one of the decade's best-selling albums, Bat Out of Hell.
I mean, everything about his music, his songs with Jim Steinman, the drama, the lyrics, the character, the real life Meatloaf, everything screams drama.
3 decades later, Meatloaf's album was turned into a musical that was staged in the UK. Now the production is going on the road across Canada, with French-Canadian Travis Cormier starring in the role of Strat a gang leader.
Strat's a character that I'm very, very passionate about. It's based off Peter Pan. It's a rebel kid, leader of a gang. He's frozen at 18 forever, and he's a very interesting guy. He's intense. He's rock and roll.
Cormier is an Acadian born in Moncton, New Brunswick. He was a finalist in the 2016 edition of The Voice and has since become a regular in various stage productions in Las Vegas. He discovered his future role as a teen.
I remember my parents had the vinyl, and I remember sitting on the floor in my basement and listening to the vinyl from beginning to end. And I remember the emotion that I felt listening to those songs.
The songs from Bat Out of Hell were composed by the late Jim Steinman, who teamed up with Meatloaf, who passed away in 2022. It's a unique blend which Cormier feels he can handle.
I mean, Meatloaf's voice is just incredible, and not just technique, but you really feel every emotion of everything he sings. So obviously there is a bit of the bar is so high, can I do this?
Rock and music fans are likely to find the perfect blend in this stage production, says Burnett.
I always thought Meatloaf screams opera. And I kind of feel that his music lends itself beautifully to musicals and to the art form that is opera.
The show will be presented in Toronto on April 3rd, at Montreal's Place des Arts on April 5th, and in London on April 7th. Stéphane Giroux, CTV News.
Coming up, they're cute and intelligent.
Xena won Best of Breed. That got her the invitation to go and show at Crufts.
But why is this dog breed not well known, and now their existence is vulnerable?
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
Increasing number of abandoned buildings.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. CTVMontreal.ca, your home for news.
Canada's smallest province is facing some big challenges as its spring parliamentary session gets underway. Familiar issues like affordability and access to health care, but also some unique challenges of their own. Maria Saru reports.
The PEI regiment formed an honor guard, while inside, politicians voted in a secret ballot election for a new speaker. Then they heard a speech from the throne that covered a wide range of subjects delivered by the Lieutenant Governor. The province's official opposition said it failed to address some of Islanders' main concerns.
I've been on many doorsteps. Cost of living is been a primary one. I didn't hear a lot on that today.
PEI's premier defended his government, saying it has introduced a long list of affordability measures with more to come.
You will hear more about that, I promise you, in the days ahead, about how we're addressing affordability and how we're investing in, further investing in affordability for Prince Edward Islanders. So stay tuned on that front.
The province's strained primary care system was top of mind for PEI's Green Party leader, Matt McFarlane.
We need to get patients, Islanders, affiliated with doctors and nurse practitioners.
More than 33,500 people are on the province's wait list for a healthcare provider. NDP party leader Thomas Burley called for more help for oyster harvesters hard hit by two diseases.
With the wild oyster industry as well, we'd like to see some action towards enhancement, towards pilot projects to kind of help revitalize that industry.
He also noted the need for better cell service across the island. The start of the spring sitting was delayed by a month while the province worked to finalize its operational budget, which is expected to be tabled in April. Maria Saru, CTV News, Charlottetown.
Canada has always been a leader in preschool television programming. Now a new show is in production in Regina, focusing on the inclusion of everyone from all backgrounds. Mick Fable tells us more.
This is one of the sets from the new TV show, How We Do It, a space built to welcome preschoolers and explore ideas of friendship, feelings, and being kind to one another. Inclusivity is a major focus where all are welcome.
This is one of our ways of just making sure that everyone feels like they have a space to be present, to be part of the conversation, and that they feel like they deserve to be here, which everyone does.
Donovan White plays Isaac, an art teacher who explores disabilities and how common they are in society. White says the role is special and he's looking forward to seeing how it is viewed.
I'd love to see how everyone else, and not just the disabled community, but just everyone in general, how they see it and be like, oh, I never thought of things like that. It could be done like that, and like, you know. So those are the things I'm more excited to see, is just the feedback that I get back from everyone.
Growing up, Allison Lang says there were no shows like this for her that depicted children who were born differently and treated just like everyone else.
I didn't know that other people like me existed in the world with disabilities and could be successful on television and, you know, really showcasing their disability proudly. I think a show like this is so important for kids.
There are 27 episodes now being filmed at the Johns Hopkins Soundstage. Saskatchewan talent make up a large portion of the show's production. With a cast and crew of about 50 people, it's estimated $1 million worth of business is coming into the province.
The crew is working so hard. They're all so talented. It's a true testament to what can happen here in the province of Saskatchewan when people are coming together, and I think the results will show up on screen.
How We Do It will be available to watch on the AMI TV channel starting in July, with high hopes of a follow-up season. Mick Favel, CTV News, Regina.
An increasingly uncommon type of dog is turning heads at dog shows. Karis Mapp spoke to a longtime breeder of Wheaton Terriers.
Tunnel, 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 tunnel. Yay, good girl.
For more than 35 years, Lorraine Jones from Mapleton Township has shared her love for soft-coated Wheaton Terriers with the world.
They don't shed, which is really a bonus with the dogs. But then when you get into their personalities, they're super smart.
And her dogs use their intelligence to wow audiences and judges at a variety of shows.
Chance was the Wheaton Ambassador of Canada in 2022. She was also the #1 barn hunt Wheaton Terrier in North America. Maya has her expert trick dog title.
And the winning goes beyond these half-sisters. Their niece, Xena, recently returned from the UK after qualifying in Toronto to compete at a prestigious invite-only event in Birmingham.
Xena won Best of Breed. That got her the invitation to go and show at Crufts, which is the world's largest dog show. And we had 77 Wheaton entries.
One of them was Jane Charlton's dog.
Come and meet Magnus. Up, up. Good boy. This is now Magnus. He's also a British champion.
Charlton has been showing her Wheatons for over 50 years and was thrilled to meet another enthusiast in Jones at Crufts.
I was there with my two Wheatons, and she came and wanted to say hello, and she announced that she was a visitor, and we just absolutely hit it off.
The pair agree that the breed is something special, but generations to come may never get the chance to own one due to a lack of awareness and availability.
They're on the vulnerable breed list in Canada, the US, and the UK. So it is, part of it is that people don't know that this breed exists.
The demand for them, for puppies, has really dropped right off the scale. And as a result, some of these lovely, lovely old breeds are in danger of disappearing.
Which is why Jones runs Diamond Jewel Kennel, breeding 2 litters a year of the Ireland-originated animals.
I've raised them from, like birth, and their mom and their grandmom and their, so I have like a vested, like these are like family.
Karis Mapp, CTV News, near Arthur.
The Professional Women's Hockey League has suspended Toronto Scepters forward Clara Van Wieren for 1 game and fined another player. Boston Fleet defender Ryland McKinnon has been fined $500. Both incidents occurred in the game played between the teams on Friday night in Toronto. Van Wieren was given a major penalty for boarding. The PWHL Player Safety Committee determined that Van Wieren raised her stick with both arms, causing the shaft to strike opponent Sophie Shirley in the back, sending her dangerously into the boards. Following the hit, an altercation ensued where McKinnon was penalized after delivering a cross-check to Van Wieren, then grabbing a hold of her face mask and forcibly pulling her to the ice. A humpback whale that had been rescued off the coast of Germany is stranded once again. It was first spotted on Monday after getting stuck on a sandbank, prompting a multi-day rescue effort. Police and Coast Guards have tried to guide the 10-meter-long mammal back into deeper water, but it stayed close to the shoreline. A humpback's normal habitat is the deep sea. An Ontario man is hoping to make a name for himself in Hollywood. recently guest starring on the latest episode of the hit drama The Pit. Robert Lothian has the story.
It's something hard. I don't really remember the rest.
Under the bright lights of Hollywood wasn't where Shane Devin Nelson expected to receive his most important operation to date.
It's so surreal being able to say that I got to act alongside Noah Wyle, who is the Emmy Award winner for Best Actor. That still hasn't fully set in yet.
The Windsorite guest starring in the latest episode of Emmy Award-winning drama The Pit.
Dante Casella, 34, blunt trauma from a fireworks explosion in his storage unit.
Injured in a firework accident, Nelson's character is in the ER for a gruesome head injury.
There was a moment where Fiona Dourif was kind of like, all of America is going to see your scalp and be like, oh my God, and cover their eyes,
It's a big break for the Walkerville Collegiate alum who's appeared in shows like Chicago Fire and the Murdoch Mysteries. Nelson spent 4 days in Los Angeles last fall shooting for the hit medical drama.
So there's just this beautiful buzz that exists even between the crew members. The crew and the cast are like this,
Preparing for a character whose life is on the line, though, takes layers of creativity.
Every morning on set, I would go into the makeup artist's office and they would put the wig on me, just lather my scalp in glue and then fit it on, and then they add the blood effects.
Fortunately, his road to recovery came faster than most.
Each scene over the 4 days, eventually getting to the point where they staple it up and it's all healed.
Nelson's biggest hits, he feels, are still to come, with his latest showing making it to the screens of millions, just another step in the right direction.
I hope that I'm an actor that somebody can then go, oh, I got to work with this award-winning actor named Shane Devin Nelson. I think that would be a beautiful kind of full circle moment.
For now, he's working on the release of a new show and waiting to see his own play brought to life, all while sharing the path he hopes others in Windsor will consider.
I'm hoping to spread the word to the city and kind of put us on the map a little bit and show that it's possible to become an actor and a performer out of Windsor and make a career for yourself.
Robert Lothian, CTV News.
After the break, an act of generosity.
The first reaction was to secure it. I wanted to protect it.
A Canadian man purchases memorabilia only to return it to its owner. A Victoria man's act of honesty is highlighting why Canadians have such a nice reputation. When he saw someone selling a box of athletic history, he bought the collection and set out to return it to its rightful owner. Adam Sawatsky has the story.
John Watt was searching online for classic cars when he happened upon the sale of vintage sports memorabilia.
It was, wow, I was shocked.
It was Olympic uniforms and international accolades.
And I go, what the heck? It's Gary Beacom. I saw him skate, and he was unbelievable.
Although Gary Beacom was one of our country's top figure skaters, winning world championships before touring the globe as a popular professional, it was someone unrelated to him selling all the stuff.
The first reaction was to secure it. I wanted to protect it.
And then what was the second thought?
Get it to Gary.
Do you know him?
No.
It just felt like the right thing to do, John says. So he bought the box full of athletic history, including Team Canada clothes, dozens of badges and medals, and started searching for Gary across Canada and the U.S. before finally tracking him down in Japan.
Thank you, John Watt. Yes, it's really nice and it's touching.
Gary says the stuff was likely misplaced during his parents' estate sale and is grateful to see it again.
It brings up some nice memories.
Past pride and appreciation, tempered by a present perspective.
Things look so funny. It's kind of out of style.
It's timeless.
It's timeless. It is timeless.
And it is filled with meaning, John says, as he prepares to send the memorabilia back to Gary.
I recognize the effort, the sacrifice.
But Gary recognizes that earning this stuff also required one to be sort of selfish. And the 65-year-old, who now coaches and teaches along with still skating daily, has learned that achieving a happy life requires you to be more selfless.
Sharing of your time or your resources or your knowledge or whatnot.
Which is why this world-class athlete says he's thankful to the efforts of a world-class guy who may have paid hundreds to secure Gary's stuff, but is giving it all back to him for free.
It's not really an effort, it's just a thought in your brain to be considerate, to be kind, and be generous.
Adam Swatsky, CTV News, Victoria.
Taking a final look at the forecast, we are sitting at 4 degrees in Montreal. It's 2 in Sherbrooke and 0 in Quebec City. Some warm temps to start your week. We'll have a mix of sun and clouds Monday morning, and temperatures will warm up to 12 degrees in the afternoon. It is going to cool off, though, for the rest of the week. We'll have highs above 0, though, every day. Periods of snow and rain scattered throughout the week. That's it for us. Thanks for watching. Have a good evening. We'll see you at 11:30.